To have you here today. I hope that you're having a wonderful Thursday. I myself am getting ready to go to my son's school because he is having a performance with the rest of his class. It's so cute because of course it's happening before the holidays, so you think like, oh, is it a holiday play? Nope, it is historical. It is all about Nellie Bly, the female reporter. The other class did a play on Susan B. Anthony yesterday, so these kids have been working for months on this play, costumes, practicing, learning lines, and it's just so exciting. So we're going to be going, and I now have a reason to get some makeup on in addition to just making myself feel good. So I figured I would come on and say a little hello. Do me a favor and put hashtag hello lovely. That is your way to wave and say hi as we are getting things geared up and going on. It also helps me know that you can hear and you see what's going on, because I don't always know if Facebook likes to work or if YouTube likes to work. But that all being said, I am going to include a link with all of the products that I'm going to be using today in case you have any questions or comments or want to get things started yourself, and know that I'm always here to color match or give some suggestions. So please, please, please always feel free to reach out. Let me pop that down in the comments right now for you. Can I drop it? I may not. I may have to do it differently. Here I am trying to be helpful and it is not necessarily working. All right. So let's start things off. I already have done my skincare for the most part. I have not yet done my eye cream. For those of you who see a lot of me in my stories, you know that I love to use my eye masks. Those I use on days when I need a quick instant lift. The gold eye masks are just so great on those days when your under eye bags are really pronounced or you feel like your skin's really dry. But I will say, if you have an issue with under eyes, whether it's wrinkles or darkness or anything like that, my first suggestion is actually going to be the eye creams that you just see me apply right now. This is something that I use daily, morning and night, and this is really going to give you those long-term results. So the eye masks are for the, oh my goodness gracious, I've rolled out of bed and I look like a hot mess express, those kind of days. Hey Nicole, how are you? Thank you so much for hopping on. Great to see you. But the eye cream is going to give you really those like longer lasting results, in addition if you wanted to use the eye masks for kind of those spot treatment kind of days. So I love to apply my eye cream before I do my makeup, just to really make sure that it's nice and hydrated. Usually I do my makeup earlier on the day. Yes, I do have something for dry skin on eyelids in the corner of the eyes. My favorite is honestly my uplift oil. So if you go to minutewithmary.com, skincare and serums, it's going to be my uplift oil. This little jar packs a punch. Little goes a very long way. I use it all over my face when it's super dry, and then I also use it to kind of spot treatment different areas, because I get dryness particularly on this inner corner of my eyelid. It's just an area of my face that reacts badly when the changing of the seasons happen. So if you'd like, you can either go check that out, or you can send me a message and I can try to help you out with a personalized skincare routine to really help amp up that hydration for you. No, your eyes are flaking. No. Yes, I would totally recommend the Uplift Beauty Oil, because of course the eyelids are like this super fine skin on our face. They don't have like all the natural oil production that the rest of our face has, and it's not as thick as the rest of our face, so it needs all the help we can get. Hello, thank you so much for tuning in and for the hello lovely. I truly appreciate that. All right, so we're gonna get things rocking and rolling. For some reason my Facebook is just not wanting to work that well, so I'm going to pull it up on my phone. Thank you for your patience, by the way. I really appreciate it. There we go. Now I can see things much better. Yes, Melanie. So, because see, it was just saying Facebook user, so it wasn't showing me who you were. So yeah, it's the Uplift Oil is what I would recommend. Let me know if you're using that. Hey, Juanita, how are you? Great to see you. So I just pinned back my hair. I'm going to put on some primer. I'm going to go old school and use my Glorious Touch primer. Primer is super important this time of year. It's important any time of year if you're wearing makeup, but especially during the drier months, because what it's going to do is it's going to create a little barrier between your skincare and your makeup, and just the elements, you know, the dry air from your car, the wind outside. So what you're going to do with your primer is, after you apply your skincare and you really let it kind of sink in, if you're using any of those serums, like I was talking with Melanie about the Uplift serum, or any kind of daily moisturizer, apply that to your face and let it sink in. Do your hair, get dressed, something like that before you apply your makeup. And then you can apply your primer. I like to apply it in the areas that I definitely need it most, so my fine lines or any areas that I have larger pores. And you can see I'm kind of tapping and pressing it in. I'm really filling in those areas. I also get some breakdown sometimes on my nose area. So this primer is going to lock in all of those wonderful nutrients of hydration that you're putting on your skin. And it's also going to create a nice smooth canvas for your foundation to lay on, and it's also going to act like Velcro to keep that makeup on your face. Butterbeer and Lumos are doing quite well, thank you. They're not besties yet. We're still waiting for that. We don't know if that's going to happen, but they can be in the same room. They can hang out, particularly if I'm handing out little treats. Lumos, our cat, loves to check on Butterbeer when she is sleeping. And then Butterbeer, if she's in a excitable puppy mood, just wants to tackle Lumos. And she jumps physically on top of her. And I'm like, no, not my cat. So it's a lot. It is a lot, Juanita, but we'll get there. We will get there. So the thing with primer, when you are trying to have your makeup and your skincare do what they're supposed to do, you need to have patience. And I know that that is pretty much a swear word, right? When it comes to your morning routine, you're like, girl, I need to get out the door. But the thing is that if you want your makeup and skin to look great all day long, you do need to allow the products to set. So when I wake up, the first thing I go do is I go wash in my face, and I do my rose water toner, and then I do my serums. So I want to have all that really good hydration, that targeted stuff that's working on the brightening and the hydration. Let that sink into my skin. At that point, I start to, go make my cup of coffee or something. And then the next time that I come around to my room to get dressed, I might then put on my moisturizer, because by then the serums have sunk in. And then I go and I do something else. Maybe I'll go do my hair. And after that, I put on my face primer. So face primer, this is kind of the beginning of the makeup portion. But if you apply your foundation immediately on this primer, it's going to mix. And it's not going to do what you want it to do. So instead, you do need to let it set. So let it set, let it fill in those pores and fine lines, let it do what it needs to do. And in the meantime, this is a great time for you to do your eyes. So today's look is all about my Addiction Shadow Palette number 10. You can just head on over to minutewithmary.com under eyeshadows. What's great about all of my palettes is that it takes all the guesswork out. All of these colors are going to be beautiful with one another. You can create countless looks. You can easily just go tic-tac-toe, so 3 in a row, or diagonally. You could do a corner. You're always going to have success because they're in the same color scheme. So just so you can see, this is palette number 10. It has more cooler tones. And then I do have another handy dandy square palette, which is palette number 9, which has more warm tones. So it really comes down to your makeup preference and kind of the things that you like to wear a little bit more. I am going to go with a cooler, the number 10 today, even though my dress does go more with number 9. Oh, maybe I should, but I wanted to do a little holiday look. So I'm basically, my holiday look is I'm going to be playing around with this green. And I want to show you that you can use color in your eyeshadows without it being like boom in your face, just by doing it on your lower lash line. It adds a little something to it. So I'm going to be playing around with this palette today. I am going to start things off with some eyeshadow primer. So just like I have primer on my face, applying primer on my eyelids. I'm really excited to be going to our son's play. He has been caring so incredibly much about this play. And honestly, I think he has like 4 sentences to say. It's your traditional like little kid school play. And but you can tell they've been really working hard at it. They invited all the parents and friends and stuff to come and see it during the school day. So I am really, really excited to go and cheer him on. I hope our little lass can go. Hey, Maureen, how are you, Mo? I hope our little lass can join us. I don't know if she can or not, if the teachers will let her out, but I'm really crossing my fingers that she can, because we just want to support him. We just want to support him in all of his glory. All right, so I just applied that eyeshadow primer, and unlike face primer, I have found that my eyeshadow primer doesn't need time to set. Like, it's ready. It's ready to be grippy, but it is very, very grippy, meaning like almost like a glue, like a sticky tackiness of maybe like a tape. So whatever you apply on it is going to stay there really, really strongly. I like to have a little dusting of a base shade to act like a buffer. If you have oily eyelids, oh my goodness, my cat wants to come in. My house is a zoo, excuse me. Oh my gosh. Come on, new mouse. Come on. She's like, Mom, where are you? How dare you leave me alone? I personally like to have a base shade, so I will do something like this matte shade here. You can even use your foundation as a base shade. I have a lot of freckles and freckles, veins, like a whole bunch of stuff on my upper eyelid. And if you don't necessarily cancel that out with a base shade or a concealer or a foundation, it can sometimes change the colorings of your eyeshadows. So for me, I'm just going to take a blending brush right in here. Hi, Lumos. How are you? Blake is working from home today, so he is on dog duty. I had to call in the call in the expert because I was going bananas with the puppy. I love her. She is so sweet, but she doesn't really allow me to get a lot of work done. If you caught my live that I did, I think it was yesterday, I was on just to do mascara and she was barking, so I had to stop. So I'm feeling the pain that so many of my friends who have dogs who also try to do live videos have. I may have to do a lot more silent pre-recorded videos thanks to her lack of patience, but she's a puppy, so I know it's not forever, and we are training her. We're doing a lot of training. She goes to puppy preschool once a week, and then I'm going to be having a private trainer come on in so that my kids can be trained with the puppy. So we're doing a lot. I am not necessarily a dog person, and so for us to have a dog means this dog needs to be very well trained. All right, so I just did a base shade right here, kind of this neutral shade, close, not necessarily close to my skin. I mean, I'm not that pale, but you know what I mean. It just kind of neutralized some of those veins that you got to see. And even that, if that is all you have time for in the morning, that is going to help you look younger and brighter and more awake. Just doing some eyeshadow primer with a base shade. It can even be your powder foundation. Lots of great options right there just to help it come on out. Lumos, you okay? Now you can see it has a little bit of a cooler undertone to it. And that's because this palette has that. So cooler undertones are going to have more blue, green, purple, grays pulling to it. And it looks great. It just looks great any time of year. And as I said, I've got my eyes on this shade here. So let's start off with a transition shade. I'm taking that same fluffy brush. A fluffy eyeshadow brush needs to be in your arsenal if you are going to be doing eyeshadows. This is going to be your piece de resistance. It's the number one thing you need to really make sure that you don't have any harsh lines. You can create a gorgeous eyeshadow look just with this brush alone if it's nice and simple. But if you don't have a blending brush and all you have are stiffly packed brushes, you're probably not going to be super happy with the results. Lumos, what are you doing? She's bananas right now. Okay, so I am going to go in with a transition shade of this light matte brown right here. I was debating about that one. Let me see. Trying to see against this what the green would want to go more for. I'm having fun today. I think I'm going to flip it. I think I'm actually going to go for this little quadrant right here. So I'm going to actually start with this one as a transition shade. And it's not even that, it's really rather light. But when you're working with a transition shade, you do want it to have it be more on the lighter side. So you apply it with that brush. I like to tap it right over the color itself, and then I go in and around the crease. And the reason that I like to start with more of a lighter matte shade is that you can build upon it. You don't want to go in with like black or brown or something really bold right away because you can't really erase that, right? But if you start with something light, you can always add more. So I'm going in my crease, and because I have that hooded eye, I'm bringing it above onto that eyebrow bone as well. And you can see I'm keeping underneath the arch of my eyebrow free from that product. I do still have kind of that matte, more white shade underneath there to really help brighten and lift. And this is a technique that you can do on all different eyes. So whether you use these same colors or you use something different, what you have at home or a different palette, this is just a great technique, learning how to master the transition shade. So I bring it all the way in here on that upper eye bone right there in the crease, and I even bring it down here a bit more where I'm going to be working on that outer V. You can apply it even down onto the lower lid if you'd like, but basically the transition shade means everything else will transition and blend into it. So you can see that slight difference of that kind of brownish gray shade of what it did to my eye. I love just going out just wearing a transition shade. One and done. If you've got a busy day or you need to hurry up and get out the door, as long as you have that fluffy blending brush and a nice matte, more lighter shade, you're going to be in good hands. So going back and forth, as I said, right inside that crease area. And I love Maureen said, doing good, just procrastinating, so watching you is perfect. Yay, so glad. Hi, Bridget. I don't know if you're still on here, but if you are, hello. It might be your lunch break. Thank you so much for your gift. My dear friend Bridget dropped off a little something. She was like a little elf this morning, bright and early in the day. So just going once again, back and forth, right on that crease area and above to lay down the transition shade. You are president of that club. I love that, Melanie. So this is adding dimension to my eye. The other cool thing, because it is matte, is it's not necessarily going to be catching any of the light if you do have more texture to your eyelids or flaking, like I know you were talking about earlier, Melanie. So working with more of a matte shade is going to be really good if dryness is affecting your eyelids this time of day on the major portion of your eyelid. All right, so I laid down that transition shade, and then I'm just going to take that brush and set it aside for a wee little moment and take out now my fluffy crease brush. So this brush is a little bit more densely packed. The bristles are a bit more closer together, not necessarily as soft, but that's going to mean that's going to pick up the product a bit more and deepen it. So just by changing the brush, I'm going to get what seems to be like a different shade. So I'm going in that same kind of light, super light brown, cool shade, light brown shade, and I'm going to start to work now in that outer V. So bringing it from my lower eyelid towards where my brow would kind of end. If your brows don't go as long as mine, you can really kind of gauge it by using a tool like this, going from your nostril to the end of your eye, and that's where you really get to kind of work on your outer V, bringing it into your crease, or if you have a hooded eyelid like me, bringing it above more on that ocular bone area. And this, once again, this is just going to deepen it. It's a great technique for all different eye shapes. Makes your eyes look bigger. And as you can see, it's nothing like super dramatic. I'm working with such a light shade, but just by switching the brushes, I'm able to create some different effects to it. So if you don't have that many eyeshadow brushes and you still kind of need to give a loved one some ideas for what you want for the holidays, head on over minutewithmary.com. You can click on tools, and you can send them a little shopping link. Actually, you can go and put in some things that you'd like. But this one right here is called the Fluffy Crease Brush. So it's a nice in-between brush. This is probably my second favorite brush to recommend to people because it can be so versatile. It still has some of the fluffy attributes of the blending brush, but because it's a bit denser, it does make the product, you know, just kind of pop a little bit more. Oh, I hear Blake. Blake's up with the puppy. Mo said, I was just going to say that the transition shade with some mascara would be perfect for a quick, low maintenance eye look. Yes, exactly. And that's it. Like when you do a transition eye, transition look, you don't need anything else. Once you start to add more components to an eye look, you kind of have to complete it, right? So you have to ask yourself, do I have enough time to really go all out, or do I just want to have a simple look? Even what I just did right now, the transition eyeshadow plus that little outer V, but it's still that light color, totally works. But now I'm going to take things up a notch, all right? So this is where you have to dedicate and say, all right, I'm going to go for this. I'm just so you know, though, I'm not making this crazy bold. Like, this is something that I am wearing out in an hour and a half to a daytime event at my son's school, but I'm still going to have a little bit of that holiday flair. So I'm using still that same brush, and I'm just going to go in to that bit deeper of a cool brown shade with my fluffy crease brush, tapping right over that same product. You'll see some people tap like this, then you just make a mess. Okay, I like to tap it right back over that same product so I can use it later. I love this palette, by the way, because it has such a nice big, ooh, with all my grimy little fingerprints on it, but it has a really nice big mirror. So if you like to have a mirror close to your face like I do, this will be your jam. I'm going to go right in that same area of the outer V, but a little bit smaller. As you do darker shades, you want to think of it as getting smaller and more intimate, because that's what really helps with the smoky blended out effect. So I'm just doing it in small motions. I might even switch over to a smaller brush in a moment. But right now, I just kind of wanted to show you the versatility of these brushes. Mo said, fortunately, you are doing a more complex shadow look today, so I can procrastinate longer. Yes, you are welcome, darling. Potato emoji. I mean, I love potatoes. I love French fries. On procrastination days, like, that's all I want is comfort food. Claire would be very proud. Keep you away from the potato famine. Right, so I'm just going right in that. It's like a 7. It's either a V or a 7, whatever kind of shape your eye really wants to go for. But you can see just deepening that up is really making my eye stand out ever so much more. And I'm still just working with matte shades. If you have fine lines and wrinkles in the crow's feet area, don't put shimmers over there. Shimmer is going to bring things forward. There's a puppy. She's supposed to be on Blake duty. Let me close my door. Hi, Lumos. Maybe Blake needs to shower, have his little lunch break. But he's been a godsend because I told him, I was like, you have to work from home. I can't be alone with this puppy. She doesn't let me do anything. So you can see how it just deepened it up. Once again, I'm not playing with super dark shades. I'm not playing with colors that, you know, make me look like I'm ready to go out clubbing or anything. I'm just doing nice light eyeshadows. I am going to go back to that blending brush, however. You can see a little bit of where this color begins and ends, and right there I'm just going to go back and forth, holding the brush more towards the end of it. When you hold it too close, this keeps the color really saturated. My goal right now is just to blend ever so gently, especially when I'm doing more of a light daytime look. I want the colors just to blend where there's no beginning and no end, right? Just right along there, keeping it still in the same area where it was, and you can even do it more in little circles to keep the color saturated, but I don't want to have any harsh lines. Awesome. So this is totally doing what I want it to do. I feel like I need, is this, I just want to bring it a little bit more here. Your eyes, just so you know, are different. Whether it's your hoods, the eye shape, the areas of where they go up and down, your brows are very different. So sometimes the positioning of where you place the product on one eye might need to be a little adjusted for the other eye, just so that they can look a little bit more even. They're sisters. They might even be distant cousins. Your eyes and your eyebrows are not twins. Most, as I recently learned, Mickey Rooney used to have a restaurant called the Potato Fantasy. Now every time I see poutine or a loaded baked potato, the words Potato Fantasy run through my mind. That sounds amazing. That sounds so amazing. I'm now going to be craving potatoes for the rest of the day. My goodness. Hello, Blake. Hello. All right, so we have now done just a very, very simple, like smoky eye with more of a light brown kind of shades. And you might be saying, Mary, that's not super holiday. I know, because the magic is going to be happening on the lower lid with this color right here. I like to do my lower eyelid after I've done my foundation. So I'm going to go in for that right now. Remember, I already put on my primer. I put my primer on before I did my eyeshadows, and that allowed it time to set. So my makeup isn't going to sit in my fine lines or pores, and it's really going to be able to do what it needs to do. Now I'm using my Serum Plus foundation, which you have to shake it up real good. Anytime you're wearing a liquid foundation of any type, please shake it really, really well. Same thing with skincare. Okay, if it's a liquid, you want to give it a good old shake like you're about to have Italian dressing, because you want to make sure that all of the ingredients in the product are mixed up. Especially if you don't wear it every single day, things might settle, things have different consistencies, so always make sure you do that. And if you do have the Serum Plus foundation, there's a dropper, and I recommend you push the dropper as I like squirt it. Do as I say, not as I do, my friends. Going live and doing makeup, not always the easiest thing for an uncoordinated person like myself. You're going to want to squeeze the dropper out before you apply it, because just like how things could have settled in the bottle, things can settle in the dropper. So I like to squeeze it out, give it another good old shake, and then I squeeze the proper amount again. When applying your foundation, start where you need it the most. And for most people, that's the center of your face, kind of like going down the T area and a little bit on either side of your nose. That's where the most redness might be occurring. A lot of people just have a lot of mixed complexion around there. I do have age spots that I don't particularly love more on these areas of my face. So sometimes I do a little bit extra right there as well. And this is a time of year, my friends, where people are in between shades. So if you are in between shades, feel free to mix your shades, okay? We're all, none of us have like a one colored face, right? I mean, look at this. I've got like 10 different shades on my face. When you are doing, though, more medium to fuller coverage foundation, we want to find the happy happy medium of your face. And that's generally going to be something that goes along well with this area, your neck, your décolletage, because you are creating a blank canvas on your face. And you want it to blend into your necks and your hairline and not look like you have a face of makeup, a mask of makeup. So even though this looks different than all these different colors here, see how it blends pretty well into the rest of my body. Whereas if I chose a more pink or darker, shade that's closer to my freckles, I would look like one of those girls from the early 2000s who had on way too dark a foundation and looked like I had a mask. The other great thing when you apply your makeup first in the center of your face and you blend it out is it helps lessen the degree of that ring around your face mask look, because I have less product over here. More product is here and then it gets blended out, just like with my eyeshadows. So as we get closer to the ears and to the neck, there's not going to be like this really strong, stark line of full coverage foundation. Blake says, I do need to take a shower before we leave, but need to keep Butterbeer quiet for you. Just keep that in mind for your timeline. Thank you, Blake. Thank you. Darn Butterbeer. Okay, Blake, I will wrap this up quickly, okay? Using the bottle as an artist palette. Right? A totally new technique. I needed it myself now. It's the messy technique. So as you can see, I'm just kind of using whatever is left and just applying that product just sparingly to really kind of make sure that I cover my face. I prefer a more medium coverage look. I do personally like some of my freckles to shine through, but as I said, there are some age spots that I don't love, and I do like to neutralize some of the redness in my face when I'm going for a bit more heavier of a, like a more fuller makeup look. All right, so I'm not too awfully concerned about amping up coverage over there. This is the spot. This is the spot that I don't like. So what I'm just going to do is take one little drop of that foundation because it's buildable. So when you have pretty even good skin and you don't feel, if you feel confident most of your skin, but there's just an area or two that you don't like, you don't have to do crazy full coverage foundation everywhere. You can really just kind of do a more lighter to medium coverage foundation and then add a little bit more depending upon the product where you need it. It really does depend though upon the foundation type that you use, because some foundations, they just come out right away as full coverage and now your face is a blank canvas, which can be a good thing. But if you're like me and you're like, I want some of my natural coloring to shine through, then you want to choose something more medium to light. And you can either spot treatment those areas that don't bring you joy, as Marie Kondo would say, with either concealer or a little bit more foundation. So see, just doing a little bit there. I'm not trying to create, a blank canvas, make it look like I have nothing there. If I wanted that, I would choose either my spray foundation or a concealer to really kind of cover that up. But that just did what I wanted it to do. All right. There, foundation, done, check. Now, speaking of concealer, I need a little bit of concealer before I do my eyeshadow look. I have like a hair on my face. I can feel it, but I can't see it. Where are you? Where are you? No, now I can't even see it. It's a mystery. It is a mystery. All right, going in with some concealer. I'm using the shade Scarlet. This is one shade lighter than my skin tone. And I'm just trying to brighten a little bit inside that inner corner, and I'm going to do a little lift over here. Now, as I said, I have some fine lines. I've got, crow's feet going on, and that is a-okay. It's part of being 40 plus. It's part of also because I like to smile. But one of the things that I want to make sure I do is set the concealer so it doesn't move. It's a creamy product. And my concealer does dry rather quickly. It has caffeine in it. It has a bunch of anti-aging great ingredients inside of it. But because it packs a punch, you can see it's really full coverage. Less is more. Use very little bit of it. And if you need to build up, you can. But also, you do want to use some kind of a setting product, whether a setting powder or a setting spray, to really kind of lock that product in and let it not shift around like a bunch of tectonic plates. You can also see I'm bringing it down the side of my nose. This kind of helps slim my nose down a little bit as I'm going to be contouring it and creating like a fake shadow for it. All right, ta-da! Thank you, concealer. The other thing that I might do is anything that's extra, I'm going to go underneath that contour line. I might reverse contour. Do any of you know what a reverse contour is? I don't even know if it's a real thing. I know that I've talked about it on a few videos here or there. I'm going to have to Google it, because if I just made something up, I'm going to be super proud of myself. But basically, us pale vampire people may not necessarily always have the best luck when it comes to contouring. If you have tried contouring and it hasn't necessarily gone the way that you wanted, or you just end up looking like you have a super bronzed face, do the Raven. Okay, Blake, I will try. You are the one telling me I need to be fast, though. If I want to do the Raven, that's going to take me a little longer. So you gotta let me know if that's what you want. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'm going to do a little boom right there. So my reverse contour is putting like a light concealer or light foundation under where the traditional kind of contour area would be. And this has been really, really useful for me in my paler months because it helps still carve out my cheekbones. But before I do, let me set this under eye area. So I love to use my Prime and Set Mist. This is my jam. I love it. If any of you have textured skin, wrinkles, fine lines, you need to get some of this. I apply it on my blending bud, which I was playing with some stuff earlier, so apologies. And I just kind of like press it in. Sometimes I even pick up a little bit more of the concealer, just so that is, because when you use a makeup sponge, it does sometimes pick up product. I mean, it's a sponge. So make sure that your makeup sponge is damp, and then take that setting spray and press it into the sponge. And what you're gonna do now is lightly tap your concealer area. And what this is going to do is it's going to deposit a little bit of that setting spray. And by tapping like this, you are kind of just pressing the concealer into your skin, having it meld into the areas of your fine lines, of the, the texture of your under eyes, but it's also putting that setting spray. And what the setting spray is doing is it's saying, stay put, shh, don't move. Don't go into those crow's feet. And also because it is a sponge, it will pick up anything a little bit extra. So if it took off too much concealer, you might just be pushing a little too hard. So you just a very, very, very light pounce. You don't have your halo light on. Didn't you learn from 34th Street? I did not, Blake. I did not. Do you want to come in and turn it on? Or is the dog going to lose her mind? All right. Sometimes I go anywhere else where I have texture and fine lines. So I have like fine lines around my face. I do get some texture on my chin, and I do get texture right there on my big pores. The other thing that you can do is you can use a powder, like a setting powder, a translucent powder, even like a powdered foundation to help with that. I like to put a little powder on it to help with the shine. If your under eye areas are pronounced physically, like you can see physically mine, powder is going to help mattify that. But I wouldn't put powder on right away while it's still tacky. Let it set for a little bit. Let's do my eyes. Let's finish up this eyeshadow look, okay? Because I'm really excited about it. So I told you I wanted to do a holiday look with this kind of sparkly green right here, and I didn't necessarily want it all over the eye. I'm going to my son's play, trying to do something a little bit more minimal, but I do want to pop it on the lower lash line. So to do that, all you need is like a liner shader brush, some kind of brush that is more flat. And you just, let's see. I first want to do a little bit of a under eye smoke out. So I'm going to use the same shadow shade that I used for my transition shade with this side of the liner shader brush. Most people generally have some kind of brush along this lines. It's like your traditional eyeshadow brush. And I bring that right to where the eyelid crease is. And this is great if you have wrinkles under your eyes, or if you are like, oh, goodness gracious, my eyes are dark. Use eyeshadow down there, okay? Make it look like it's part of the plan. You can kind of skip some of the concealer. You don't have to worry about it being discolored, but there is a physical crease right there. Just like there's a crease here, you have a lower crease. Then you can go on in and add that transition shade shadow all the way down there. Some people even go below. And this is going to make your eyes look bigger, make your eyeshadow look more cohesive. I always use powder under my eyes, at least to diffuse the shine. Yes, exactly, Mo. Same thing. But as I said, I'm going to wait a hot second to let that setting spray and concealer set for a moment. But yeah, anything that's shiny on your face that you don't like, add just a little bit of powder. You don't have to do powder everywhere if you don't want a full matte look, but you really can kind of treat those areas that shine a little too much for you. taking that flat shade, the liner shade of that liner shader brush into the green. It is time to make the magic happen. And what I'm going to do now is bring this on that lower lash line, and I'm going to see if this gives enough pop, or if I want to take that setting spray that you just saw me use and make it pop even more. One of the coolest tricks when it comes to eyeshadows is you can wet your brush with either setting spray or water, and you can make the colors pop even more. No, it is doing just fine. It's like totally doing what I want it to do. Yay! Blake, I don't think I'm going to do the Raven. Don't think I'm doing it, my love, because I'm focusing on this. I'll do the Raven look for you some other day, though. Okay? If you're still watching. He loved this eyeliner look from a character in that show, Love is Blind. This woman, Raven, she did an eyeliner look, and she brought it further down on the inner eye corner from her like top lid. And Blake has been requesting that I do the Raven. So I will try it for you some other day, Blake. But right now, I just wanted this green holiday eyeshadow to really kind of pop underneath my eyes. And what I love about it is it has a little bit of a shimmer. Can you see? Can you see it? It has a little bit of a shimmer to it. So, I don't know, it just is something fun. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it up into almost a cat eye area. So you can see I'm bringing that up and just stamping it to make sure that it's nice and extra, a little extra, extra. I can't wait to do the Raven someday. Yes, I will let you know. I will let you know, Mo. I'm going to have to practice it a few times, I think. I'm killing you, Smalls. I'm sorry, Blake. I can't do like a big dramatic lower thing and then a dramatic upper thing. I mean, I guess I could, but not to go see a 4th grade play about Nellie Bly, the female reporter. All right. And I love it because our son is one of the like villainous characters, and he was so upset because he wanted the top villain character, the person who had the most lines. He's like, I didn't get it. And I was like, but you got like this mean guy who just yells like, faster, hurry up, faster. And you like put people down. And I love villains in plays. When I get to do any kind of acting, I'm like, give me the drama queen, give me the villain. They have the best songs. They have the best roles. I mean, think about it. Think about Scar. Be prepared. Like, so cool. Gaston and Beauty and the Beast. Another great villain. I'm like, villains are the best. They really are. I mean, I don't want to, like, you know, marry a villain. Luckily, I'm just married to Blake. But you got what I'm going for. So here's the scoop. When I do a kind of like colorful lower lid, I do like to go in with my black eyeliner, so Blake's gonna be happy. He loves when I do black eyeliner on the waterline top and bottom. This is going to make your eyelids look smaller, so if you just use the eyeliner, just pencil eyeliner in between the skin, in between your lashes and your eyeball, on the upper lid, it's going to make the base of your lashes look nice and thick and full. This is a great tip for those of you who have hooded eyelids like myself. But if you're trying to create a more cohesive, smoky, dramatic look, this is when you can go on in and you can also use that eyeliner on your lower waterline, which, as I said, Blake loves. So I'm just going to go in and take this pencil and bring it along those lower lashes. Is the puppy sleeping, Blake? So you can see that big difference. Like, it's just like, wow, like, you know, it's intense. When I do this, I sometimes like to bring a little bit of the black pencil eyeliner into this upper portion, kind of this outer third, outer half of my eyelid, just to bring a little bit more drama here. So this is going to be a dramatic eye look for the day, but really what brings the whole look, giving it a little pizzazz, is this under eyeshadow because of that color. So if you didn't want to do any eyeliner, you can totally skip it and just do your mascara and have a little bit of color down here. But I know Blake, he's asking me for the Raven. I'm not doing the Raven, so I'm just going to do the tight lining that I know he likes. It just makes it look a little bit more dramatic, makes your eyes stand out a little more. And speaking of dramatic, I think I'm going to actually do a little bit more of that green eyeliner eyeshadow, because now that I've added this black eyeliner, it's kind of stealing the show a little bit, and I don't want it to. I want it to be the green eyeshadow, right? Blake's like, come on, Mary. I need to go shower. All right, I'm going to use that liner brush just to smudge. Just a smudge. When you're using a pencil eyeliner from minutewithmary.com, it has about a minute where you can really smudge it around. And then after that it sets. All right, I'm going to go in same green sparkly eyeshadow, and I'm just going to apply a little bit more. And I'm even going to bring it down a little bit more just so people can see it. I really want to make sure that this is like a little something fun. A little something fun. It's got that green kind of sparkle wing to it. And I don't know, I think that when you add a bit of festive flair to your makeup, it's a fun little pop. You can even take it on your upper eye if you did some of that eyeliner. So now I'm going to have green sparkle eyeliner, but it's really eyeshadow. And it just adds a little something. It's a little something that's not necessarily normal, that people are used to seeing. And as I said, I could have gone and done a full out, bold, sparkly, whole eye look, but it's daytime and I don't necessarily want that. But I wanted a little something fun, little something fun. At this point, when you do your eye makeup, you may not love it. You may not love it because it doesn't look complete. And this is because you need to do your mascara. Mascara brings the whole thing together. But I also don't have any blush or bronzer or anything like that on, and I need to be quick because Blake needs me to hurry on up. So I'm going to do my new color stick. This is coming out in 2023. It was out for my holiday bundle, so if you are one of those who are lucky enough to grab it, you lucky duck you. But it is a cream blush and a cream lipstick. And this shade right here, it's called Cinnamon Latte. It is by far my favorite. I just think it looks great on all different skin tones. And because it has a little bit of a brownish undertone to it, I even use it a little bit as a contour. So I'm just going right there, kind of on that contour line. And I'm using my finger. I think your fingers do a great job. It adds some warmth to really help blend it. And I haven't put any powder on my face yet. I have only used that liquid foundation. So I add a little bit and build upon it. And this is, once again, this is the all-in-one color stick. It's my cream blush. It will be coming out in 2023. If you were one of the lucky ones to grab it in my holiday bundles, this is one of my favorite ways to use it. Melanie is saying that she's obsessed with Cinnamon Latte. Great for lips too. I'm putting it on my lips too. Right? So it's an all-in-one. It's not just a cream blush, but you can also use it as a lipstick, as a highlighter, as a contour, and it has 10-hour color wear. So it goes on and it feels really creamy at first on my lips, and then after that I can feel it setting. So if you like something a bit more hydrating, just know you're either going to need something on top or you're going to want to apply like a gloss. It does last all day. It's so crazy. It's so good. All right, so now that I added that color there, I'm feeling a lot more like myself. I'm going to go in now and do my lashes because as I said, this is when the step really kind of amps up and your eyeshadow look comes together. When you do something that has a bit bolder of an eyeliner, or I have the colorful eyeshadow eyeliner going on, this is when the mascara, it makes it look a lot better. At this point, you may be doubting yourself. Using some lash primer, I love me some lash primer. It helps condition your lashes, really takes the results from your favorite mascara up a notch. You apply it, and then you apply your mascara. I keep my mascara on my bra. It makes it warm. You can put it in a warm cup of water, but warm mascara is happy mascara, especially if your mascara isn't new and it's a little old and it might start to be getting a little dry. I'm telling you, warm it up and it is going to be smooth as butter. So I'm using my twisted mascara, the little wand. It's grabbing all of those little lashes, keeping it nice and close to the end of my lashes where kind of it begins really to create that fullness, doing my little baby lashes that I forgot. And then I'm going to go in and spin it at the silver, and I get out the big wand, the big one. And this is going to amp up the volume and really help with that curl. So between this mascara and the lash primer, I'm going to be having really separated lashes. I did just get mascara right there on me. I do it every time I go live. Every time I go live. Talking and doing mascara is not easy. All right, Blake, I'm almost done. There is hope. There is hope. So you can just see the difference. Like the mascara amps it up, or if you wanted to add false eyelashes, you could do that too. But to me, it just really completes it and pulls it together. And I gotta say, this little bit of green sparkle eyeshadow and my eyeliner area that I would normally be doing it, it's just adding such a fun little pop. I don't know if it's coming across as well as I want it to on camera, but in real life, it's catching the light. It's got that nice, cool green undertone to it. It's just a little pop of holiday, because I have my red dress and I thought, okay, I could go all out and just do like red on red, but 'tis the season. 'Tis the season to wear red and green if you want to. So I figured I could represent, do a little bit of green without it being too in your face. All right, I forgot to do my lower lashes. I have not been doing my lower lashes frequently, but if you do your lower lashes, a fun little tip for you is to actually do them first. You're gonna make less oopsies, make less of a mess of the mascara on your upper eyelid if you do it that way. Another great tip is to hold a mirror below your chin when you're applying your mascara. You'll have a lot better luck when it comes to that. All right, let me clean up that little whoopsie that I had. It should be dry. Whenever you have a makeup mascara mistake, you do want to let it dry before you take it off. You could take it off with a Q-tip. It's so small, I'm probably going to be able to just take it off with my fingernail. Yep. A clean spoolie brush, like a clean mascara brush should do it. All right, let me set this makeup with some powder and I will be good to go. So I'm just going to take my setting powder. Now this setting powder is a little different. It has water encapsulated inside of it. So you do want to shake it up. It has kind of like a chilling, hydrating effect to it. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit into the cap. Grab myself a setting powder brush, and you're going to see the difference that this makes for under my eyes. I should have done this before my mascara, but I was just too excited to get things started. So this just kind of sets it. You can do a smaller brush if you'd like. Mattifies it down. So anywhere that you want to have more of a matte look rather than a dewy, shiny look, you would apply some powder. This powder really locks in your makeup, locks in sweat. So if you are someone who's like, oh, I put on my makeup, but it just comes off throughout the day, I really recommend that you try my Prime and Set powder. It's under the setting products on minutewithmary.com. And there we have it. I did not do my brows. I don't always do my brows. Some days when I do more of an eyeshadow look, I do my brows, but today I didn't. But that's the final look. So I did end up mattifying the whole look, really to keep it nice and locked down. I did a fun little festive eyeshadow look with my eyeshadow palette, which I can't find right now. I just put it down. I just put it down somewhere. But it's eyeshadow palette number 10. And what I did my green sparkle eyeshadow underneath my eye and as an eyeliner. So I hope that you enjoyed this Minute with Mary. I do need to go so I can let Blake get ready for our son's play. And I'll talk with you soon. Bye.